What's up, Jimmy? How's the weather over in Florida, man?
It stinks. It goes back and forth, and stinks is the key word, Michael. Stinks.
Why? So you were saying about that, like what stinks about it?
Well, there's the gradual changes of season in New York,
Right.
which allowed us to, assimilate into the next season,
I like that word,
and and
assimilate.
and you get used to it, especially after half a century. And where I live, it goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So you could be during a certain time of year here be freezing, and then the next week you could be looking at 70 degrees, and then it's back down to 40, and then it's up to it's weird, and I've had a hard time getting used to it.
How do
So
you deal with the warm weather though in Florida? Like, because it gets pretty soupy and hot, right?
yeah, like I said, you wind up stinking. You sweat a lot, you know.
Well, Jimmy, I want to introduce one of our new sponsors, Mando. Can you
Ah,
see that?
yeah,
Mando.
nice.
Mando gives you a whole bunch of product, right? Body washes. Let me see if I can swing that over there, right? We've got here a whole body deodorant, which is good, right? You're at work, you're sweating, I don't know if you have a propensity to smell, dude. I'm not trying to make fun of you. You
Who,
know what I
me? Not
mean?
me. How
Some
about you?
people, not really, dude, because I tell you, well, I will tell you this. We've discussed it before. I get very sticky and very caught up in things. And I
Yeah,
mean, when you spray this body spray on you,
yeah,
boy, oh boy, it makes a huge difference. Now, again, in New York, it's still cold, so I don't necessarily need it all the time. But I could imagine those hot summer Florida months is going to be. This will be
yeah.
your first or second time dealing with that.
Actually, technically, it would be my third.
Really?
Yeah, because I hit the summer 2 years ago. Don't forget, I was here in the summer of 2023. Then there's 2024. Here comes 2025. So I've experienced 3 summers here.
Well, then I bet you wish you had some Mando with you last year.
I need like a crate of Mando because I'm a fando of Mando.
Oh, I love it. Mando's starter pack is a perfect for all you new customers who are asking you to support Long Island's number one pro wrestling broadcast, Monty and the Pharaoh, right? Use the
Easy for you to say.
MATP code. That's
MATT.
MATQ, which is showing on right there on the screen. Use that. Support us. Show Mando they made the right choice in choosing one of the top pro wrestling podcasts or broadcast or television show that you could possibly have. And if you use that code, right, it equals 40% off, Jimmy. 40% off. If by
Nice.
my math, that's close
That's
to
pretty good.
half.
Yeah, I'll take
It's a
that.
little less than Conan's math, but
Yeah,
it's almost half. That's
yeah.
40% off when you use MATP as the code, which is on that screen. 40% off. Go to Mando. That's Shop Mando, ShopMando, and get your starter kit. Jimmy, how you can convince all your friends in Florida to order some Mando?
Well, first of all, I'll have to be upfront with them and tell them that they smell funny. And then I will highly recommend Mando because, you got to think before you stink.
With that, I got nothing else to say. Mando.
I'm a fan, though. About Mike might have a different opinion. No holds barred is his Orson Welles Citizen Kane.
He's great in No
So
Holds Barred. That was one of the finest acting jobs in the history of
would you
Hollywood. Um,
stop? Stop it. That's horrible.
that Jimmy, that's a great question. Gary, since we got you here, I got to ask you this question. Then, a few years ago, Jimmy and I had the honor of having Bob Backlin in studio with us. Growing up, obviously, we hated Backlin, right? Because we were these bad guy heel fans. But obviously, when we got older, the respect that we have for Bob Backlin. And you know what? When we met the guy, he was exactly Bob Backlin, and he just seemed like such an honest, straightforward guy. I guess my question to you is this, though, is a lot of people remember Bob Backlund as being this not very good champion who couldn't draw a house, and that Senior had to pack the events in order to sell out Madison Square Garden and the Spectrum. We weren't there, right? As fans, we didn't know the inside. When we went there, it was always packed. Is that true, or was Backlund the capable champion that we think he is?
Hmm. Capable is one of those. malleable words. That means a lot of different things. Wrestling wise, of course, he was terrific. But I think you're asking me about the draw. Um, and yeah, Vince Senior did have a very strong undercard for Backlund in the large arenas, and I don't think he would have done that if he didn't think that it was necessary. Although it was his decision, his insistence that Backlund be his champion. He was determined for Backlund to gain success. I don't think he ever gained the success that McMahon Senior, envisioned or wanted. But Backlund he's a super guy. He's a really nice guy, very down to earth. He really is an all-American guy.
Yeah.
His wrestling is incredible. His conditioning was always, the best, not the most charismatic. And but that's I guess you can't have you can't be 100% in every single category.
Well, then here's another loaded, Jimmy, 1 second. Here's another loaded question then.
Yeah, loaded.
You said that Senior, just felt like he had to keep going with this. Did Senior make a mistake not keeping superstar Billy Graham the champion?
Ooh.
How would we know? I mean, it's not like we can look at what happened and then we can switch over to another alternate universe with superstar Billy Graham as the champion for longer and compare the two. There's no way to know that.
How about this then? Would Superstar Graham been able to turn face? Because I believe he would have been. He had already done the impossible. Think about, of course, you're there. It's 1977. And he's doing the impossible for that time period. He's a bad guy that's getting cheers. Okay, that's impossible in 1977. But there he is doing a pre-Hogan of sorts, as Hogan himself has credited. So if you turn him face and you keep the belt on him, can we go to that alternate universe? What do you think would have happened if he turns face?
I think he would have been very successful. That would be my opinion. I don't know, but I think he would have been very successful. Here's something else that goes back to promoter and champion. Let's just say champion, your top guy. This goes way back to like the days of Hollywood and the studio system. And the question becomes, relating it to wrestling, would Hogan have been as successful as he was without McMahon's vision? And would McMahon's vision have worked with a different wrestler? Or did you need both together to make the perfect marriage?
Yeah.
Would, would Katharine Hepburn, Gloria Swanson, whoever the old-time actresses were, would they have been successful outside of the studio system? Probably not.
Right.
Right place, here's right time. One thing that you can look at that's the closest, I think, to that. When you look at wrestlers that we're used to seeing in WWE today, and they leave WWE and they go over to AEW, they don't have the same support system in AEW that they have in WWE. Everything from what they wear, they're not coached on. How they act, you can say, we think WWE over micromanages their talent. But then when you see the talent given their own wishes and desires and carrying out things the way they think they should be carried out, you'd say, maybe that wasn't such a bad idea, because this guy has really shrunk, or this gal has really shrunk outside of the WWE system.
So Gary, now that you parlayed into that, we remember seeing you very early on the AEW days. You came out, did some ring announcing. What do you feel has gone wrong, if you do feel it's gone wrong, in AEW?
They have no leadership. They have no knowledgeable leadership, and they have no leadership at all. So I think that's why. I think it's an indie show with a multi-billion-dollar budget.
How about